Okay, so Microsoft shut down Tango Gameworks and Arkane Austin and a few other studios that nobody knows about, whatever. Now, before I get into this discussion, I just want to say this: there's a human component to this. There are people that lost their jobs, have their livelihood, put under pressure and everything like that. I will never wish for that. Okay, um, I don't want to talk about the human element of it. There's lots of people pompoing about the human element. Honestly, a lot of them are disingenuous, and I don't want to add to that sort. I want to talk about it from the company's perspective. And I want to take this approach because I'm going to simply say if a company does not produce a product that you want, you have no reason to keep them around. I I am in support of Microsoft. I think that there are two groups that are to blame for the closure of Tango Gameworks and Arkane Austin, and neither of them are Microsoft or Xbox even. Matter of fact, I don't even blame Phil Spencer. And you guys know I am not a fan of Phil Spencer, so this is not a defense of Phil Spencer. But this is a moment where you have to recognize that even though I don't like the guy, he didn't do anything wrong in this case. And let me tell you why. A lot of people out here, especially in the media and gamers, disingenuous as they are going to tell you that, okay, this is somehow Microsoft's fault. How? Tell me how. How is it their fault that they are shutting down companies that did not create products that you wanted? They are going to tell you, oh, they created Hi-Fi Rush. Nobody cares about Hi-Fi Rush. This is something that I said so many times before, and I was proven right yet again. And the thing is, what I don't like is the disingenuous takes. You have everybody there on YouTube from like Young Ye to IGN. They're so mad about this. Oh my god, Redfall. If not Redfall, then Hi-Fi Rush, Prey, Dishonored. Oh my god, there were such gems. How could you have shut down? How could they not? I've gone on record to tell you guys that I didn't like Gravity Rush. I didn't. I didn't like most games that Sony Japan made, so I'm glad that they shut down. Again, there's a human component to that, and I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking that I'm glad that people lost their jobs. But I'm going to be honest in telling you that if a company does not produce the products that I want, and I want products, um, I have no reason to keep them around. I'm not gonna lie and I'm gonna be fake about it. Like, oh my god, how could they have shut down this indie cute passion project? I don't want indie cute passion projects from first party publishers. If you're a first party platform holder, I don't want your cute side project stuff. Keep it at home. If you want to give me an indie game as an exclusive, partner with other studios. Give me a Kenna, a Bridge of Spirits. Give me a Tales of Kenzara, Zao. Give me all of the indie games you want, Rollerblade, whatever it takes. But partner with external studios that need that support, that need that money. When you look at a Kenna Bridge of Spirits, 10 million from Sony means a huge amount to them. This is how you grow the industry. You go to the grassroots and you say, hey, let us inject some cash into you so that you feel confident in the product that you're making. You see a level of success, hopefully, and then you go and you make bigger and better things. Or maybe you stay making indie games, but they are more varied, more diverse, more risk taking because your financial back is not, your financial self is not against, your financial back is not against the wall. That's what I'm trying to say. So that is where small projects should come from. And yes, have them exclusive if you wish. Put them on Game Pass, put them on PlayStation Plus. Do whatever it is that you think is going to give that game the best amount of success, if that is your goal. But again, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I want a Sony Santa Monica to make Journey again. No, I don't. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I love Shadow of the Colossus. I didn't. And I don't want a second one. Even games that I love, like Journey, Flower, and everything, I don't want a sequel to those games. And if I get a sequel, I don't want those to come from Sony first party studios. I just don't. And this is something that I've said time and again. But now you have these disingenuous takes from both the gaming media and the gamers themselves. Hi Fi Rush could be the most excellent game ever created in its genre. But guess what genre it is in? It's a rhythm game. I've said this time and again. This is a niche category. And the thing about Hi Fi Rush is that it had the worst timing in that It came out at a time when Xbox was in desperate need of blockbusters. I don't want the Concrete Genie 2. In fact, I think the first one was absolute garbage. Not only was it bad as a game, but it was terrible as a first party game. Like I said, garbage. If Sony was to close down, I don't even know who made Concrete Genie, but if Sony was to close them down, I'd be fine with it. If they have already closed them down, great. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, again, not talking about the human element, just talking about there's a company, there's a business out there that is not providing me with the business I'm interested in. I have no desire to see you around. Gravity Rush 3 or a Gravity Rush 2 remake or a Gravity Rush reboot from the ground up could be interesting because I think the idea is good. And I think that the genre is more appealing than something like a rhythm game like Hi-Fi Rush. But the game was technically limited. It just was. I don't think the characters were good enough to push through the experience. So they're gone. And I'm perfectly okay with that. You see, that's the thing. You have to tell people what you actually want. So with the gaming media, they're always telling you about how Hi-Fi Rush was this critically acclaimed darling, blah 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 blah. But no one tells you that at the same time, Xbox was in desperate need for blockbuster titles. The reason that Sony got away with a Concrete Genie is because they had already surrounded the game with big tentpole franchises that shoved the needle all the way to the right. Like they traumatized that needle, they just beat it to the right hand side of the speedometer. That is what they did. So when you come up with a Concrete Genie, some people are gonna love it, some people are going to hate it, like myself. Most people aren't even going to play it or care about it. Most people aren't even going to hear about it. That's fine. Because you surrounded it with AAA, big banger, blockbuster, game of the year contender, most game of the year winning games. It's perfectly fine to have a Concrete Genie. But with Xbox, you have been coming up for nearly a decade of not having that big blockbuster experience, especially a consistent one. The only real blip on the radar, the only ones that could have moved the needle just a little bit, Forza Horizon 5, Gears 5. And that was pretty much it. So Hi-Fi Rush was a product that, as excellent as it may be, and again, to this day, I haven't played it, but I can accept that it is an excellent product. It was not timed well. It should have come out after 2 or 3 blockbusters had come out, or it should have been sandwiched between them, or it should have been followed up by blockbuster titles incredibly soon after the release of Hi-Fi Rush. But it was kind of left on an island unto its own. And again, this would be one thing if it was like Ori and the Will, or of the Forest, or Ori or the Blind Forest, whatever. Oh, sorry, it's Ori and the Will of the Wisp, Ori and the Blind Forest. Those games, platformers, have a wider niche. So I think they can stand up on their own island just a little bit more, especially when they're of that quality. But no, Hi-Fi Rush was an excellent rhythm game, a niche of a niche of a niche, and nobody cared about it. It was free on Game Pass, and only about 10% of the people have beaten it. 10%. By comparison, Forspoken, a game that was, look at this image. It was dragged through the dirt. It has a 33% completion rate. 33%. This is a game that people would just make fun of. And yet for the people that bought it and experienced it, 33% of them finished it, although it is a much longer game than a Hi-Fi Rush. So you see, that's what I don't like about the gaming media. They are not honest. Now you have the gamers themselves. You have a lot of gamers out here that want to act so mad. Oh, they're so mad. Prey. Oh my god, Prey. They love going to that. Prey was garbage. Straight up. That's why it was a flop. Now, here's the thing. Some people love Prey. Some of my friends in real life absolutely love Prey. They're the ones that got me to try that hellhole for about 6 hours. My god, I dragged myself through that game. Jesus Christ. I do not see what people see in it. But then again, it's a Bethesda game. And there's just something about Bethesda games that just doesn't appeal to me. Dishonored 1 being the exception. But nobody cared about that game. Straight up and down, nobody cared about the game. Then you take a look at Dishonored. I love the first Dishonored. I haven't played the second one, even though I've bought it. And the reason I haven't played the second one is because the discourse from people that played the first to the second is, well, they lost some things along the way. And that made me so sad that I just haven't played it since. I've got it on PlayStation Plus. I bought it in real life. It's been years. I still haven't played it. One day I will, because I would like to return to the franchise. But the point is this again. That also didn't have a huge, fan support. Or at least it had a diminishing fan support from the first to the second game. So, all of that is to say, let's be honest about the conversation. I'm so tired. And the thing about Hi-Fi Rush, specifically, picking on that one again, is that I don't blame Phil Spencer. Because you guys know that Phil Spencer is incredibly impressionable. Phil Spencer listens to the gamers and he loves interviews. Oh my god, this guy loves to be interviewed. He loves the media. He loves the public facing aspects of his job. So, another thing that I think is a fault of his is that I think he listens too much. And for years, he's been listening to the drivel, to the nonsense that Xbox gamers somehow value variety over game of the year contending quality. You know what they say? Oh, every Sony game is a third person walking simulator over the shoulder, which is weird because that's what third person is, but whatever. What did they say? With a bow and arrow action adventure game where you have to squeeze through cracks. The thing. The PlayStation formula, the Sony template. Okay, fair enough. Except that template works. That template sells, and within that template, because you're really just talking about camera angle and action adventure, which is the widest genre in gaming, there are plenty of diverse experiences. Horizon does not play like God of War, does not play like Death Stranding, does not play like The Last of Us, so on and so forth. But the formula works, right? If it is a formula, if you find it formulaic, then understand that is like baby formula. It sells. But what have you been telling Microsoft? What have you been telling Phil Spencer specifically? Oh, we love the fact that you are sponsoring all these little passion projects. You tell them that you want these products, and then Phil delivers these products, and then you don't buy them. You don't even play them. And if you play them for 5 minutes, you don't even complete them. And now people, because everybody must defend Phil Spencer, right? People are blaming Satya Nadella. Why? Satya Nadella is not the one that decided to buy Bethesda. Satya Nadella is not the one that decided to buy Call of Duty. Satya Nadella is not the one that was responsible to make this platform succeed. That was Phil Spencer. And Phil Spencer didn't do his job in terms of making that platform succeed because, in part, he listened to the media and you guys that told him that variety was somehow the thing that you wanted. And that's funny, that's ironic, because you never wanted it. And the media should have been able to say, hey, Phil Spencer, since we have you here, we love games like Hi-Fi Rush. We do. We love games like Minecraft Legends. We do. But these are the side pieces. This isn't the entree. This isn't the mains, and it's certainly not the dessert. It is the little olive bread, and oil, organic bread and oil that you get at the beginning, the amuse bouche. That's what these are. And you need to focus on making the main meal. Get into that kitchen and bring us dinner. But you didn't. You pretended that this is what you wanted. You pretended that these little artichokes was going to satisfy you, only for you to reject it. And now you turn around and you're mad at him for doing the thing that makes sense for a business to do. If a company isn't making the money, isn't making the product that the market accepts, they are going to be shut down. And so this closure lays on the shoulders of the gaming media and every gaming personality out there that lied to Microsoft. That this is what they wanted, this is what gamers wanted. The gaming media is supposed to represent us. You guys know that, right? Like they're supposed to be our amplifiers, our loud voices, you know. And they love to use that power when it comes to Sony titles. They really, really do. You know, you have so many times something like Horizon Forbidden West compared against Elden Ring in favorable ways because Horizon Forbidden West was an exclusive. Elden Ring was on all platforms. Oh, look, Elden Ring sold 20 million. Horizon only sold 8 million. But nobody wants to take into account that, hey, Horizon has access to less players. But no, no one wants to do that. They love to do this when it's time, you know, to compare God of War versus the previous God of Wars versus this. Oh, it should be put on PC. Oh, look, God of War only sold 11 million in this amount of time. This other game, Power War, sold this much in this amount of time. Again, not comparing the player base. No, they just love to amplify whatever thoughts that people have, especially when they are negative towards a Sony property. And that is fine. Keep doing that. As PlayStation gamers, we want you to keep your foot on the neck of Sony and PlayStation. That makes us better products. But the problem is, or at least the good thing is, we actually communicate which products that we want. We do communicate the products that we want. That's why you see that a lot of games that are released, despite the media telling you and gaming personalities on the internet telling you that they will never succeed, that The Last of Us Part 1 remake, they do amazingly well. They really do. Spider-Man Miles Morales was supposed to be DLC, right? According to people. It's still selling to this day. I don't even know how. I do not understand how it's selling since it's on PlayStation Plus. But it's still selling. It's ridiculous. Marvel Spider-Man 2, still selling, right? People are always trying to downplay the technical gameplay and story achievements that these games from PlayStation have brought forward. And yet they sell. And they sell because the market does not care to be lied to. That's why Hi-Fi Rush didn't sell. They gave Hi-Fi Rush what, a 92 and 96? How? Can we just talk about that? And the how of that is because most of the places that rank these Xbox exclusive titles when they are first launched are Xbox, you know, kind of affiliated places. And we don't care about that. We want to use that whatever rating Hi-Fi Rush got as if it was somehow equitable to everybody else, you know. So I think over here, let me just go on Metacritic over here. We're gonna check Hi-Fi Rush. This one is on Xbox. It only has 63 critic reviews, just 63. And I bet you if you were to look through the list of them, a lot of those, especially the highest reviews, will be coming from people that have somehow Xbox in their names. And that's the problem. The problem again is that it is disingenuous. It is disingenuous to take this 87 that is only coming from 63 critic reviews and then compare it to something like a Horizon that will have 100 plus reviews coming from a wider variety of different outlets. But again, do we care about that? No, we don't. We want to embellish it. We want to say, oh my God, it was just gem. Oh my God, Hi-Fi Rush this, Hi-Fi Rush that. But where are the numbers? Where are the players? The players are not there because the players were never interested. I said this many times. Hi-Fi Rush is a niche product. Then you have the people that made Redfall. Arkane Austin. And we all understand that Redfall was a flop. But remember how these gaming personalities first lied to you, going to all of these previews and telling you how great the games were going to be. Colt Eastwood is one of the most infamous examples, right? So they lied. And they told Microsoft that this is great. Because when they are there, when the developers are there in front of them, when they have access that most of us will never have the ability to, they say, oh my God, this is lovely. Go and do more of this. Then, of course, they take that feedback and they go and do more of that. And what happens? They get shut down. Because of you. Because they set them up for failure. Because at the time when you could have been honest and you could have said, hey, you know what? This just isn't it. It just isn't it. You could have given them honest feedback. You could have given Phil Spencer, honest feedback. You decided to blow smoke up their ass. You encouraged them to go down the wrong path. Yes, they were already marching down the wrong path, but you gave them that extra boost of confidence to really just go all the way ahead. Then now people are having regret around the Activision Blizzard deal. They are telling you like, oh my god, if we knew that the Activision Blizzard deal was going to put so much pressure on Xbox from Microsoft corporate, then we wouldn't have supported it. But here's the problem. We've been telling you that. We've been telling you that you do not give $70 billion away and then you just let things go, just let things be. Just like, oh yeah, be at peace. I love you. Go spend $70 billion, Xbox. Don't worry about giving us return on investment. No. I said this on a podcast, and I said that one of Phil Spencer's greatest failures in recent years, in the last 2 years, is that he should have protected Xbox from Microsoft. And you do not protect Xbox from Microsoft by borrowing all of their money. They are not going to give you the biggest acquisition ever in the tech sector and then just let you be however you want to be. They will want that money to pay back immediately. And this is something that I said on the podcast because one of the original people who actually led the development of the original Xbox, he left during the 360 era, just as they were hitting their peak. And he was asked by Ryan McCaffrey of IGN, why did you leave towards the peak of the console? And he said this. He said, at the beginning of the Xbox, nobody at Microsoft cared what they were doing. They didn't believe in the product, therefore they didn't want any influence in it. They wanted nothing to do with it. They didn't want that failure assigned to their name. So he had pretty much full autonomy to do whatever he wanted with the Xbox division. And so he went ahead and he did what was best for the gaming sector as Microsoft. And they had a medium, I guess, amount of success looking from the outside in. But in terms of Microsoft, it was tremendously successful. And I mean, I think the Xbox at that time was one of the most successful hardware launch ever, Microsoft not being a hardware company. During the 360 era, things were just accelerating, just looking better and better. You know what those people started to do? The ones that previously ignored the division? Now they wanted a say. Now they wanted to tell him how to run his house. And he had to constantly fight people that had no idea how gaming worked. But somehow they were more senior than him or whatever. And he couldn't just shut down every single bad decision. He even talked about, I think Bungie had asked for some extended time to work on Halo 2. I think it was Halo 2. And the marketing people were like, no, we've got to release it unfinished. It doesn't matter. And he basically said, look, either you give them the extra year or I quit on the spot immediately. And that was the only reason that they got that extra year and that they made Halo 2 into the legendary title that it continues to be to this day. You see, he had to put himself on the line for people who had no idea what they were doing or what they were talking about running his own house, his own show, about literally leading his own darling straight to the back of the house and shooting them in the face. And eventually he got tired. He got tired of the politics. He got tired of people dealing with morons that had no idea what they were doing. So he left. And that's why he left, even though the 360 was at its peak. And given the way that the 360 ended, I bet you that his departure was one of the things that caused the downturn into the Xbox that is still being felt to this day. People like him that actually understood the gaming business, they were eventually sidelined, or maybe they quit, or maybe they were reshuffled around in order to lower their voices and lower their input. And then what did they bring? They brought in shills like Phil Spencer. You see, at a critical juncture, this man, I don't remember his name, but he protected the Xbox from the folly of Microsoft. Instead, Phil Spencer invited in Microsoft's folly by opening the doors wide and simply charging a ticket at the door and be like, yep, you can come in. Just give us $7 billion for Bethesda. Give us all of this money for Obsidian and everything and all of these studios. I think the studios in 2018, the five or six studios that they acquired, that was fine. Because again, comparatively, I think they spent less than $1 billion on all six of those studios. This, for Microsoft, is not pocket change, but it's money you can ignore. Because again, at that point, relative to the scale of Xbox, the amount of money they borrowed to make those purchases of the six studios in 2018 was proportional to the scale of Xbox. So fair enough. No problem, right? That was a good move. But then when they started buying Bethesda, $7 billion, that was already overstepping what the scale of what the scale of Xbox could justify. But, okay, you make one of those big purchases, like a flagship purchase. It's not the worst thing in the world. But then you go and then you ask for $69 billion more. Nice. And that is when Microsoft can no longer ignore you. And so we've seen articles after articles, tweet after tweet about people explaining this very reality. But the point is, if you are a gamer and if you've been on Twitter, if you've been a gaming personality on YouTube, if you've been anywhere around the internet discourse surrounding the Activision Blizzard purchase, why are you surprised? Why are you acting like this is brand new information when people were telling you that this is exactly what's going to happen, and you guys refused to listen because there were haters, there were ponies, there were this or there were that, and now you are sitting there like a buffoon, apparently acting all surprised and, oh my god, I wish I could go back and I wouldn't support this. You had that information. You should have been known this should have happened. And this is exactly what would happen in any corporation. And it's the same thing on a personal level. Imagine that you are well-to-do, right? You're doing well for yourself. And you have a nephew. And that nephew is like, hey, may I borrow $1,000? I have a business idea. And I'd like to give it a shot for about a year. Hopefully, I can pay you back. You're like, okay, nephew, I hear your idea. Sounds like it could be promising. Here's $1,000. Go with God. Hopefully, it leads you something good. And then he borrows his $1,000 for the next 2 or 3 years. That's fine. And again, it's just $1,000. To you, it is something that you can easily ignore. This could have been like a birthday gift to him. It's nice for him to ask and for him to apply it towards a business. Sure, go with God, right? But then on the 4th year, he comes back to you and he's like, I've been working at this business idea. I haven't just been wasting the money. Here's what I've gotten so far. But in order to really break through, in order to become the success that we imagine that this can be, I'm going to need $10 million. And you've got the money, but it's not just pocket change anymore. Even if you give him that money, you are now going to monitor closely how that money is being spent. You might send a project manager of your own. You might send a business manager of your own. You might personally get involved with the plan. You might start saying like, hey, no, don't do this, start doing that. The point is, you now demand oversight. And that is exactly what Microsoft is demanding because of the $69 billion. And that's exactly what should happen. But here's the problem. The people that are giving Microsoft this oversight have no idea about gaming. Just like 20 years ago also. They have no idea how gaming works. And Phil Spencer should have known this. And he knew it. But he was so desperate to make his stupid Game Pass idea work that he sacrificed Xbox at the altar of Microsoft. And that is why I'm not in defense of him. But I am telling you, you guys lied. You said you wanted a product, he delivered that type of product, and you did not buy or partake in that product, and that is your fault. Disclosures are yours. But Phil Spencer's direction, his leadership that led them towards Game Pass, that has always been headed for failure. And Activision Blizzard was a desperate move to try to make a bad idea, an unsustainable idea, into a thing that could actually last in the long term. And the truth is, in order to make such a bad idea work, a lot of good things have to be sacrificed. So you can have your fun pointing fingers at Phil Spencer, But remember that wherever there's, two fingers pointed forward, there's at least three pointed back. And you need to accept. You need to accept the blame. You need to accept the blame for that. So, all of that is to say, Game Pass is a terrible idea. It's another idea that gamers apparently now are having lots of discussions around, especially the day and date aspect. Suddenly, oh my god, it is in vogue. It is popular to talk about the fact that Game Pass day and date may not be the greatest thing since sliced bread. And this is coming from traditional Xbox personalities. And it's like, where were you 2 years ago when I was saying this? Now you guys want to now think like, oh, maybe Game Pass just really isn't sustainable. We've been telling you this. Sean Layden, literally one of the best third-party sources anybody could have on the issue of subscription services in gaming. He was literally one of the heads, one of the key people at PlayStation, the rival company with more success than Microsoft. And he told you to make the pennies work, to make the nickels add up, for a game to be launched day and date into Game Pass, given a $100+ million budget, you will need 500 million subscribers at $10 a month in order to make that viable, in order to make that sustainable, in order to make that a business idea that works. 500 million subscribers. And I said many times on my channel, many times, that even if you were to have that number, because the logistics and the business strengths of Microsoft can shoulder some of that burden a little bit better than people that Sony can. Even if you were to cut that number by a fifth, you will still need at least 100 million subscribers, and Game Pass has never been anywhere close to that. But you didn't want to listen to Sean freaking Layden. How? How did you not want to listen to him? How would he not know? Even if you said that his calculations is a little off, do you think they are like 100 times off? Of course not. Do you think when he says the reality is you need 500 million, that you could actually do it in 5? Are you crazy? How was he not going to know? He came out there, he told you the truth, and now people are like, oh, maybe Sean Layden was right. How did you ever think he wasn't? If anybody, there was no one else, okay, that had a position equivalent to his, that came out and actually gave us some real figures. No one else. Microsoft has never discussed the viability in terms of how many subscribers they would need at whatever price point they would need to charge those per month, so on and so forth. They've never done that. And then you have CEOs like Strauss Zelnick from Take-Two Interactive and many others that told you that, hey, this is not profitable. This is not a viable way of releasing a AAA game. But they were not platform holders. The thing about Sean Layden is that, again, he was in a unique position of being one of the leaders at PlayStation, another platform holder. Because really, as far as consoles go, there are only three. There's Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation. So Xbox was telling you, oh my god, it's so sustainable, we love it here. And Sean Layden was like, yeah, well, we ran the numbers when I was back at PlayStation. I mean, I can't really say that, but I can because obviously we did. And this is what it came down to. And he told you this over and over again on the What's Up PlayStation podcast. Shout out to Jay Barry, Persona. You guys do fantastic work. But no, you people didn't want to listen. Only now apparently the ears are perked. And this is what I mean by the gaming media is so disingenuous. Sean Layden told you what the figures will be, and he was dragged through the streets for it, including by media personalities, not just like rabid fanboys on X or whatever. No. This is the gaming media's fault. You were given good quality information. Again, even if you have the number, it will still be 250 million subscribers necessary. You should have taken that on board and be like, hey, Phil, this isn't going to work. Let it go, Phil. Let go of day and date. Everybody else has a subscription service. None of them have day and date. Not in the gaming anyway. I mean, I think that EA Play has a day and date version, but if you take a look at their particular offering, it is only their games that they're offering day and date, and it is only their games within their catalog. So they reduce the burden on the service by a tremendous amount by keeping everything in house. So I suppose if Game Pass was only Xbox first party titles, then they might be sustainable. Um, as long as you charge the same price or a little bit more. But of course, that's not what Game Pass is. Game Pass is much more analogous to PlayStation Plus as it is now. And that's the kind of perspective that Sean Layden was speaking from. So let me correct the record on that. Now, all of that is to say, when you lie, people get hurt. And the people that are hurt are the developers that lost their jobs. And now these same developers are watching from their homes as they are looking for new work opportunities. They are watching these media personalities big up Hi-Fi Rush again. These gamers big up Hi-Fi Rush again. Big up Prey. Big up Dishonored 2. Dishonored 1. As if they played it. As if they bought it. Apparently all of you loved it. None of you played it. None of you supported it. So when people say support the devs, you can feel whatever way you want about that particular phrase, but in its essence, it's trying to tell you that if you love a particular product, buy that product. Speak with your wallet. Your money speaks far louder than words. If you loved Hi-Fi Rush, although it was available on Game Pass, you should have bought it. To really show Microsoft that this can stand on its own, we will play, we will support these types of products. But you guys will all talk and none of the walk. And so that's why you need to take responsibility. You need to take accountability. It is Phil Spencer's responsibility at the end of the day, but you need to also hold yourselves accountable. Here's what I will tell you. Stop telling Microsoft lies. Stop telling them you want Hi-Fi Rush because you don't. I'm not telling you that you should. You don't. Tell them what you actually want. Tell them that you want the Sony big AAA banger equivalent games. Like, tell them that is what you want. Let me make some predictions for you. Hellblade 2 is going to be a disappointment to many Xbox fans because, again, it is the Sony template. It is a third-person, narrative-driven action adventure, squeezed through tight holes, over-the-shoulder camera perspective walking simulator game with a fun twist of psychosis. That's what it is. It's the Sony template with a little bit of a spring to a step, little different direction, but it follows that template quite closely. And apparently, this is the template that you guys hate. So why are you trying to big up Hellblade 2? Here's the problem again. Hellblade 2 could be excellent. It could be a 96 rated game. And it still won't move the needle because it is a niche game. It's more of an experience, an interactive experience, than an actual fully fledged video game. This is not what it should have been. I thought they were going to really big up the combat system. I thought they were going to really make sure that the game was just more than just a sequel to the first one. But this one feels incredibly disappointing because it's been, 7-8 years? Maybe? Way too long anyway. And it's just more of the same. And that more of the same means it's more of the same niche appeal. So that is not going to move the needle. Disavowed looks like a child's Sunday cartoon, the discount version that they wouldn't put on prime time. It's not going to move the needle. Indiana Jones, it's not looking great. A lot of people to this day are saying that Indiana Jones looked great. Oh my god, it looks so exciting. It didn't. It really didn't. I said this during my showcase review that I believe that it can look a lot better than what it showed. But let's just be honest for a second. What we saw was not amazing. Yes, it can get better, and God, by God, we hope it does. But let's be honest and just say that wasn't great. It was it was good. It had signs of, oh yeah, this could be promising, but it wasn't great. Stop trying to compare it to like Uncharted. It's nowhere close to that level. At least not yet. So let's just be honest about it. If the Indiana Jones that we get is just a slightly polished version of the one we saw in the trailer, that's not going to move the needle either. You have Perfect Dark, and apparently now the gaming media is saying that Perfect Dark is not coming together well. I don't believe in insiders and rumors, and I don't just switch on that disbelief or that cynicism towards them whenever it happens to be bad towards Xbox. No, 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 no. I don't believe in Jeff Grubb or JS Gordon or JS this or no, no. I don't believe any of them. But if you do, the signs aren't good. And my signs are this: not what they said. I don't care about what Jeff Grubb said. My sign is this: when was the last time we heard about it? When was the last time that it was shown? Why was it shown so early? Because when it was shown, it was a conceptual trailer. It was nothing. It was basically just a pretty animated title screen. Is it first person or third person? By God, I hope it's third person. But the point is this: the signs aren't great. Of course, we have the showcase coming, so we will have an update, hopefully, on Perfect Dark, because that is one of the games that I look the most forward to from Xbox. If Perfect Dark comes out and it is a tremendously beautiful blockbuster game of the year contender, this PC of mine is finally going to be used for something good as far as gaming goes. But that's it. That's the challenge there. We're going to see how Perfect Dark looks. South of Midnight is going to fall into the Hi-Fi Rush territory, maybe with some more levels of success, and I'll put Clockwork Revolution there as well. There are going to be games that are potentially fantastic experiences, potentially fantastic games, as long as they are backed up or accompanied by bigger blockbuster titles. It's a bit like Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. I think they have the potential to reach that kind of sphere of influence. They can definitely move the needle, but it's best done when they are surrounded by other games. Where it's like, oh, I never got to Uncharted: Lost Legacy. Oh yeah, let's get to it, and then you're like, wow, this is so amazing. I think that's what South of Midnight and Clockwork Revolution can do. So hopefully they get to do that thing. But if you guys keep telling Phil Spencer that these little passion projects, these little indie-like games, these things that are not that polished, are the ones that are going to satisfy you, you're not only shooting yourself in the face, you are also setting up all of those people, all of those developers that apparently you guys care so much about now. You're setting them up for failure. And they will get shut down and they will lose their jobs. So there are real consequences, there are real stakes to this issue. Be honest about your feedback. Tell them exactly what it is that you want and tell them when they are not delivering so that they can fix it and create a product that you will happily support. I have people on Twitter now going after me because, you know what, let me show you. I was going to just make this a little talk episode, but you know what, let me show you. Because sometimes it's better to show, right? So over here, as you can see, there was a question: would you buy a Horizon Zero Dawn remake on PlayStation 5? I love Horizon Zero Dawn. I've beat it in 4 times, all the way through. 2 of those times were complete playthroughs where I just played every single thing, did every single thing that you could do. And then the other 2 times were mostly just mainlining the story with some side quests there and there. And I think I'm like 60% of the way through my 5th playthrough. I love Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm not sure how many hours I have in it because I'll have to check. Horizon Forbidden West, I have at least 200 hours in it. I know because I posted a 200-hour milestone on Twitter and I got a few dozen hours more after that. I love the Horizon franchise. I do. It's not for everybody. I get it. I'm not trying to say that it's better than your favorite game. It's fine. But I love it. Therefore, I said I'd pre-order that shit. Again, it's what I like. I don't care if you are like, oh my god, the remake, the remaster, oh, it's only 7 years old, it's only this, it's only that. That's your value system. That's fine. I have no issue with it. But also, don't try to take away from me what it is that I enjoy. Don't try to minimize what I enjoy. Now over here, you have lots of people, okay, just talking, just talking nonsense to me. For example, this person saying, playing the game I have on PlayStation 4, they could have just dropped an update and moved on. Sad they took it off PlayStation Plus and make a remake to get fanboys to buy it again. Again, you can't just be a fan of games. Have you guys noticed how much shame you get for just enjoying gaming in the gaming space? Like, I'm literally saying, I will buy and support a game, I will play a game, but playing the game is the thing that is shamed. But if I say that I will buy a 4090, people, whoa, wow, man, go for it. Why? Why? Because buying hardware that is supposed to apparently make your gaming better is more valued than buying the games to justify the hardware that you purchased. This is a problem that I have, especially with PC gamers. They are so happy to pay for the hardware, especially expensive hardware, and to broadcast that all over the Twitters or the YouTubes or wherever you can find them. And yet, when you ask them, hey, what are you playing that on? They are going to give you 101 ways to discount a game. Either buy it on sale, on deep discount, on a Steam sale, pirated, or emulated, right? Or just use CD keys or use this or use that, because at the end of the day, they want the actual game part of gaming to be the cheap part. You should want the hardware to be cheap and the games to be the ones that receive the money, because they are the main product you're supposed to show for. But no, over here, what a pointless waste of money. Just play it on PC. And it's like, is it a waste of your money? Like, it's my money. Let me support with my money the things that I support, the things that I love. Over here, why? And it's like, to play it. And again, then of course, what they're going to tell you, oh, go and play the original version. I've played the original version. If I wanted to play the original version, I have access to it. I could play it, but I don't. I want a remake. I'm allowed to want a remake. You are allowed to not want that remake. But we shouldn't be telling each other what the other person should or should not want. Okay? Finally, a person that said that they will buy it in a heartbeat. So you see, there's people like me. Over here, why? The game already exists and is easily accessible. Okay? And I'm telling you, I have things that I will want from a remake. And over here, I'll stop here at a remake of a 7-year-old game. I hate to just bang on this drum over and over again, but you guys do realize a remake is not necessarily for you. You are allowed to say no to a remake. I love The Last of Us Part 1. It's one of my top 5 games in the world. I didn't buy the Part 1 remake. I didn't feel like I would play it anytime soon, because I again played that game over 4, maybe 5 times all the way through. And it's a fairly linear experience, so pretty much every single one of those was like a 100% playthrough. The problem is, with me with Part 1 Remake, is that I didn't want that experience again so soon. I'm really glad that the remake exists, but that is for new fans and other returning fans, not me. But I will never take it away from them. If I got The Last of Us Part 1 Remake for free, I still wouldn't play it. I'm still not feeling the need for that experience again. The Last of Us is a particular experience to me. I enjoy it. I love it. One of my favorite games, but I don't feel like returning to it so soon. It's 100% true. But should my pause or my hesitation or my reluctance to return to a game that I love stop other people from loving it from the first time? These remakes are there to attract new people. There are people that were not born or they were not of age to enjoy Horizon Zero Dawn. And now they could get the opportunity to fall in love with it for the first time. And I would love that. I would love more people to love my franchise, because that's what guarantees that it will have a sequel. That sequel will have the money put into it. Showing love and showing appreciation and showing your financial support, even if it doesn't come from you directly, is what's going to eventually feed into the next release. Perhaps you're not interested in a Horizon Zero Dawn remake, but you are interested in a Horizon, Part 3. and that money could funnel and go and feed that, that bigger endeavor, and then it would deliver onto you the product that you want to see. Remakes are not made necessarily for you. They are primarily, I believe, they're primarily made for new fans. Yes, some returning fans like myself would absolutely love it, but primarily it is targeted at people that have never touched it. So let them fall in love with the thing that you fell in love with. Again, I watched The Godfather on 4K Blu-ray, the latest format and everything. Should a person that was born 40 years ago, 50 years ago, should they belittle me for being a new fan of the film? Or should they be happy that I also got to appreciate the art? Gaming is the only medium where somehow updating the art form for the latest standards is seen as predatory, or like it takes away from gamers. How? Do film people get mad when a film that, again, like The Godfather, like the original Star Wars trilogy, do film lovers get mad that those are updated so that the people that come and they meet it, when they are of age, like a 12-year-old that watches for the first time on a streaming service or whatever, do they get mad at that? Or do they say, great, now you love the thing that I also love. What did you think about it? Come in, tell us your thoughts. What did you think? Did you think it was too old? Did you think it was this? Did you think it was that? How does it compare to other films that you've seen recently, because the medium has moved forward? But no, in gaming, we are not allowed to love games like that. We're not allowed to love games so much that we want other people to experience it again for the first time. We tell them, go and play the old version. Why should they have to play the old version? Why? Why can we be proud of the art that we create, the art that we partake in, to be able to say, like, yes, let this version go out to the people that will fall in love with it for the first time. And then if ever I wish to return to it, perhaps I will get the new version. Perhaps you will go back to the old version because that's the original, and it will always have something about it that is unique, because not every element of the new version would you necessarily agree is better. Even if the overall package is better, you could be like, you know what, I preferred it when it worked this way. The slide used to take you this far, they adjusted this, or they changed this about this, or the machine's now behaving a little bit of this, and I prefer the old version. That's fine. The old version still exists. They are not taking away, your things. Just like a person that still has the Godfather on VHS, they get to play that VHS however they want, whenever they want. No one is taking away their VHS tape just because they release a 4K Blu-ray version. And when they remaster The Godfather for 8K, do you think that I should tell my future nephews or future children, or future adults, I should say, since The Godfather is an adult film, future adults, like, no, don't watch the 8K version. Go back to 4K because that's how I experience it, and that's the best way. That's the touchstone. No, it's not. So stop being selfish and stop treating our medium like it isn't worth what other mediums get. Again, one book I've really struggled to read is A Tale of Two Cities by whoever made it. Sorry, I forget his name right now. I'm having a blank. But A Tale of Two Cities, right? I got an updated copy, right? It has a new art on the front. I could have gotten it in paperback or hardback or everything like that. Is that the original manuscript that was printed, like the original book that was ever printed, of A Tale of Two Cities? No. Does a person who loves A Tale of Two Cities, are they going to tell me like, no, you are somehow a fraud for buying the newly updated version or the newly printed version of the book, with the new artwork and everything? Absolutely not. When people read Harry Potter, are you going to tell them, no, you need to go and find one of the original prints of Harry Potter because that is the only way that you are allowed to become a true fan, Or when they reprint Harry Potter, do you feel like, oh my God, that's price gouging, that's money grabbing, that's this, that's that, that's predatory. How are they releasing a new cover for Harry Potter again? For new fans, mate. For new fans, to attract new people. And why shouldn't you be happy about that? So films are allowed to do it. Books are allowed to do it. You can go to museums, and nobody is going to go like, oh my God, are you coming to a gallery to like Look at the painting. No, 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 no. You need to go back to the original painter's hut, in which it was painted. That's the only way you should experience it. No, 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 no. Again, art, paintings and drawings and everything, they are allowed to do it. There are many, digital images of the Mona Lisa. Are you now going to be like, Emmanuel, you are not allowed to look and enjoy the image of the Mona Lisa because you didn't go and see the original painting in the Musée du Louvre? Maybe you say like, hey, listen, it's a tangible difference to see it in person. That's great. But no one would ever shame you for being like, hey, here's a digital photo of the what the Mona Lisa is. Same thing with most art. So all other art forms, I feel, especially with media, are allowed to update and remaster and do the same equivalent thing that our games do. But only in gaming are you somehow a fool? Are you somehow a fanboy for being like, I appreciate that too? And if you don't appreciate that with this particular game, that's fine. Just say you want support it. It's no problem. I'm not trying to convince you to want a Horizon Zero Dawn remake. I'm telling you that I would appreciate it. That's it. So I will leave it at that. I feel like I've rambled on for long enough. Yet another hour-long video, pretty much. Thank you for being here. If you took the time to listen all the way through, Jesus, you're fantastic. Have a good day, whatever it is that you do. I hope that I fixed the audio issues because that's the whole thing, and that's why PC sucks. But yeah, I hope that everything is good with that. Because an hour long, and if it's gonna fade in and out again, honestly, I might just give up this entire YouTube channel altogether. Or I could swap microphones. I suppose I could swap microphones because I have more than one. I think I have like 3 or 4 microphones in there. So I suppose I could find another solution. But I like this microphone and I would like for it to work. Okay? So y'all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Be honest about the things that you want. And yeah, I would pay great money for Horizon Zero Dawn remake. I love the game.